Hello and welcome back to a Psychology Class 12 Series 2023-24. मैं हूं सिद्धांत and I hope आपको हमारी last videos पसंद आई होंगी. Okay, before we move on to the next topic, I would request you to please like, share and subscribe our videos because इससे this will encourage us to keep making videos for you and helping you get good numbers in your board exams. Okay, starting with today's topic. Today's topic for chapter number 1, which is variations in psychological attributes, would be our individual differences in intelligence. So our first topic is nature and nurture. Ever wondered ki why is someone more intelligent and why is someone more weaker when it comes to part of intelligence? Is it the role of heredity or is it the role of environment? Yes, this confusion has always been there, thus here. Okay, so nature basically refers to the complex interplay of your heredity, for example your genes, whereas nurture, by the word nurture, is the environment you grow in, the background you come from, the background you belong to, the background you move to, etc. Okay, so our first nature, we'll be moving to nature first, which is evidence of heredity comes mainly from the studies on twins and adopted children. So nature, as I said, is heredity. We have only studied twins and adopted children majorly, right? So we have different kinds of ratios and numbers. Intelligence of identical twins reared together is 0.90, whereas twins separated early showed similarity in intellectual, personality and behavioral characteristics. So identical twins who were reared together, that means two identical twins who were brought up in the same house, showed a high correlation of 0.90. Identical twins who were reared apart for any kind of reason showed a correlation of 0.72. Whereas fraternal twins reared together is 0.60. Brothers and sisters reared together would be 0.50 and brothers and sisters reared apart 0.25, right? This is your heredity. Heredity, again, the complex interplay of your genes, etc. Okay, moving on to the environment part. Environment part again relates to what? Your nurture, right? With respect to environment, adopted children showed that their intelligence is more or less similar to their biological parents rather than the adoptive parents at the beginning, right? Later on, what was noticed was that as children grew in age, their intelligence started to shift more towards their adoptive parents. Why? Because of nurturing. Nurturing is inclusive of your environment you grow in, the background you belong from, the quality of education, quality of healthcare, etc. that you've been provided with. Okay, moving on. Children from disadvantaged home who went into good families also showed some increase in their intelligence as well. Whereas there is a general consensus among psychologists that intelligence is a complex interplay of heredity and environment, which is your nurture and your nature. Intelligence is it is related to both your nature and your nature and the nurturing you get. Nurture again heredity, nurture again environment. Okay. So this was our first topic for the day. Moving on to the next topic is your assessment of intelligence. अब intelligent सीधा ऐसा तो नहीं बोल सकते ना कि हाँ इसके 100 में से 100 आ गए तो ये बहुत intelligent इंसान है. We have a standardized objective method in order to assess the intelligence of a person. Alfred Binet and Theodore Simon in the year 1905. Again a reminder, 1905 to be remembered, the Alfred Binet and Theodore Simon to be remembered, made the first formal assessment in measuring intelligence. They made the first formal measure of intelligence, right? Again, I'll revise the years with you. Two-factor theory by Charles Feynman in the year 1927, triarchic theory of Robert Sternberg in the year 1985, and first assessment of intelligence was in the year 1905 by Alfred Binet and Theodore Simon. Okay, moving on, 1912, William Stern gave the formula of calculating IQ, that is MA upon CA into 100. MA is your intellectual development relative to the age group that you are belonging to. That means how intellectually developed are you as compared to the other friends of yours who belong to the same age group. For example, age 23. How well developed I intellectually am as compared to my friends who are also 23, 24. Whereas CA is your biological age from birth, right? Apart from this, you also need to remember the normal curve. Normal curve basically refers so the curve is like this, right? Normal curve is basically where most of the population lie in between. Whereas on the extreme size, we have rare people who either are intellectually gifted or deficient or whatever. But the normal curve will share in the middle itself. Then I'll also recommend you to remember the IQ table, which is given on table number 1.1 and figure 1.2 as well. Right, if you get a question of assessment of intelligence, make sure you draw this table and also the figure. I hope you don't have any doubts. If you have any doubts, please feel free to ask in the comment box given below. And once again, do not forget to like, share and subscribe. Thank you so much. Okay, with this we come up to an end of the assessment of intelligence. But before we move to the next topic, I have one quick question for you, which is the IQ of a 15-year-old boy whose mental age is 18 will be. So I would recommend you to solve this problem. Remember the formula, which is your IQ is equal to MA upon CA into 100, right? So I hope you do solve this problem. Please take a look again. IQ of a 15-year-old boy whose mental age is 18 will be, right? Do let me know the answer in the comment box given below. Okay, moving on, we have our variations of intelligence. In this, we have two subtopics, which is intellectual deficiency and intellectual giftedness. Okay, in general terms, what is intellectual deficiency for you? Maybe, when you think that, okay, he or she is not that smart or not that intelligent or stuff like that. But in your book and for your board exams, you do not have to write that. The definition you have to write is the American Association of Mental Deficiency, which is AAMD, gave views on intellectual disability as significantly sub-average general intellectual functioning existing concurrently with deficits in adaptive behavior and manifested during the developmental period, right? So here they say that they have sub-average intellectual functioning, which is also related existing with adaptive behavior, inability to adapt to new situations, etc., and manifested during the developmental period, during the early period. Okay. Now there are three rules, three dimensions in order to judge someone as intellectually deficient. The first one is a person must show significantly sub-average intellectual functioning. It's not that ये आज के पेपर में इसका अच्छा नंबर नहीं आया तो ये intellectual deficient है. No, they should be showing sub-average intellectual functioning. Second step relates to deficits in adaptive behavior. That person is not able to adapt to situations. His behavior is not adaptive at all. They are hell-bent on one particular thing, not adapting, not shaping, etc. The third feature is that the deficits must be observed during the developmental period, that is between 0 to 18 years of age. You get to know about someone who is intellectually deficient between the developmental period, which is 0 to 18 years of age. Okay. Moving ahead, we have the different levels of intellectual disability as well. So we here have 4 different levels of intellectual disability, which is your mild, moderate, severe and profound. Mild people with mild intellectual deficiency will be ranging from their IQ to from between 55 to approximately 70. Moderate would be from 35 to 40 till 50-55. Severe would be 20 to 25 till 35 to 40. And the last profound is IQ below 20 to 25, below that. Okay, I hope this was clear here now. Moving on, we have our next topic, which is intellectual giftedness. What is giftedness? Giftedness is, okay, football fans, Messi is gifted, right? So giftedness is exceptional general ability shown in superior performance in a wide variety of areas. It doesn't mean that if you're excelling at a particular subject, that means that you're gifted. Gifted means that you excel in a variety of areas, not just one. Whereas talent, now we come to that. Talent is a narrower term and refers to remarkable ability in a specific field. So let's say, okay, for example, Virat Kohli. Would he be gifted or would he be talented? He would be talented. Why? Because he excels in the sport of cricket. Whereas giftedness would be someone who excels in more variety of areas. Maybe let's say maybe in your school itself, you have people who are really good at hockey, cricket, football, sportsmen, and all-rounder sportsmen, right? So that is your giftedness. So there's a big difference between giftedness and talent, and I hope I was able to clear that for you. Okay, now we move on to the next topic, which is the types of intelligence tests. Individual test or group test. Individual test is a test which is done one-on-one, which is done on an individual, where you can form rapport, etc. Whereas group tests are tests where we conduct tests on a big variety of people. For let's say example 4 people, 5 people. Here you will not be able to form rapport. Your subjective answers won't be there. It will be more of objective, right? Second, we have a verbal, non-verbal or performance test. Verbal tests are basically for the literate people. Non-verbal tests or performance tests. Non-verbal tests are for the illiterate people who can also do it. For example, your RSPM. Then we have performance test. Performance test includes your speed and power test as well. Speed tests are tests which require a time frame in which you have to do a test. Power test is as you keep increasing the level, the difficulty level also keeps increasing after question wise question, right? For example, your RSPM again. Culture fair or culture bias. Culture fair tests are basically tests which are open and appropriate for all cultures. Whereas culture bias tests are tests which are appropriate only for a particular culture. For example, let's say if the Americans made a test, so it might be a culture bias test because it will only suit the people of America. Whereas if we make a test which is generic to all, then that test can be used to us Indians and Japanese, Chinese and so on, etc. Right? Okay, then the last topic we have is our intelligence testing in India. Okay, now with this we come to an end for today's topic. I hope you really liked the video, and if yes, please don't forget to share, like and subscribe. Also, if you have any kind of doubts, don't hesitate and you can always ask us on the comment box given below. Have a good day, everyone.